Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog. We are in Starlight Zone, a peaceful nighttime city with relatively few hazards. It's a much needed breather after the labyrinth. So right at the start there's this breakable wall which we can go through for an extra 30 rings and an invincibility, which I'm not taking because it would spoil the gorgeous music. These bombs are the main hazards in this zone, but relatively easy by themselves, and of course to get this extra life, just go far enough that the blocks revert to their normal position. So this is the first route divergence. As you can see, I'm taking the bottom path, and that was a very long, fast rolling section. There are lots of those in this zone, which makes it one of the most fun zones, but that does make it difficult for my commentary to catch up. So I just had to slow down there on the slope to avoid falling off the bottom of the screen. And here is a tricky little jump that you don't have to make, but it gets some extra rings, but you only get one chance at it. So jump here to gather up speed, roll, and let go of the directional pad and then veer right to get up here. Jump on these slopes to get up quickly, and there's 20 rings there. Here you can see the fan. There are several of these throughout the zone, and they're basically one-way fields. And there was a fan on the lower route, and that's why you only get one chance at that jump. Anyway, hit these blocks to make them come down. And there's another route split, but this time going down would only take us back onto the route we just left. And that's the end of the act already. I don't think I've ever mentioned it before, but the end of each Act 1 and 2 has 5 of those little points where invisible places where you can jump into the air to activate point bonuses. There's a 10,000, a 1,000, and 3 points that are marked 100 but actually only give you 10. Sorry about that, just had to get myself a glass of water. So, Act 2. The Orbinauts in this zone, unlike Labyrinth, do not shoot out their spike balls. And the act begins with a nice and easy section of these loops, which will catapult us into some mid-air rings. Bring up here to activate the bombs, then off-screen them. That fan goes on and off periodically. It can be very annoying because it can throw you off the platform when you've gotten onto it. There we are, got past it. For this Orbinaut, roll under it. You'll just have to judge for each one whether to go under or over. And this fire spitter is very annoying. Just time your run so that you land after the fireball. When you get here, they will stop. Jump over the spring for a life. And this time I will get the invincibility because this jump from the spring is rather hazardous. There's a bomb in the ceiling that you can easily run into. You don't want to fall down onto the lower route, because if you continue on the higher route to the end, there's a nice reward. Just up here, 50 rings. And it's worth noting that this is, if we hadn't already gotten all the special status and Chaos Emeralds, Act 2 of Starlight is the last place in the game you can get one. For Act 3, it's going to be a bit tight for rings on the route I'm taking, so I am taking the time to get all of these. Then I'll slow down on this slope by holding left. And then when it changes gradient, you can roll and you'll get these mid-air rings. So, bottom path. As usual, activate the 2 bombs, then off-screen them. So you can just jump past the second pair. Slow down here so you don't go off the bottom. And you can use this seesaw twice and it'll get you even higher, never mind conservation of momentum. The invincibility gets you past the remaining bomb. But don't stop for rings on the second loop because you want the invincibility for this tricky fireball section. Then here just run and jump and you'll go past the second fan. If you're not at top speed there, it will blow you inwards towards the bombs. And here's a weird section with platforms that appear and disappear. But that does let you get some extra rings, and you want at least 59 coming into this bit. So this looks scary with the bombs under the seesaw, but in fact the seesaw will do the work of off-screening them for you. And if you're short on rings, you can go up the second seesaw for those extra rings and a 10-ring monitor. Anyway, here's a nasty Orbinaut, so I'm taking a bit of care with this slope so that I don't... Okay, he's gone past. Roll under the second one, and just roll here, and you can go through the wall into these rings. So this bit's annoying because it's difficult to hit the bottom of this platform without hitting the spring as well, and the spring will reset them. But once you're up here, there's no more hazards, we're at the boss. There's the only checkpoint in Starlight Zone. So Robotnik will drop these spike balls onto the seesaws, and you can use them to catapult yourself up to hit him, and you can also bounce the spikes directly into him. So one good method I've found is ignore one of the side seesaws, use the other one, time your jumps so that you throw those spikes into him, and use the middle one to hit him yourself for the extra hits. And that's it for Starlight, but because that was such a quick and easy zone, I think I'm going to record Scrap Brain Act 1 in this video as well. Alright, it's the final level of the game, suitably intense music, and right at the start is a trapdoor over a bottomless pit, so you want to be very careful with the timing. The second one is a bit quicker than the first. More hazards to get past, and here's a route switcher. You'll go different routes depending on whether this is turning clockwise or anti-clockwise. But even if you're taking the bottom route, actually especially if you're taking the bottom route, it is much harder. It's a good idea to come up here first for this shield. And again, there's a split. There is a top route over that way, and you can get 100 rings on the top route or this middle route. I'm going middle because it's the one I'm more familiar with. So you can roll into this caterpillar, it's quite tricky. But it doesn't matter whether you lose the shield or not, because there's a replacement one at the top of this shaft. And if you haven't got final level vibes yet, just look at how many obstacles are in the way of passage through the zone. It's not bottomless under these platforms, but they will throw you down to a lower route, so avoid that. And these platforms come and go rapidly, so if the platform is not there, it's safe to jump onto it. That looks like the trapdoors at the start of the act, but this one is perfectly safe, and going down gives you quite a lot of extra rings. You don't want to miss those. Here are more trapdoors. This time going down will take you onto the lower route, and in fact that is what we want to do. So just a little bit of patience here. Now when I said the lower route is the hardest, I meant a bit earlier on than this. We've passed it. So this is fairly simple, just a bit scary because this time it is bottomless under these. But we're home and dry, we get 30 rings for our trouble. And the last hazard of the zone is a series of these pig badniks throwing their little bombs. Fairly easy to jump over that one, and here there are going to be 2 of them. For some reason not shooting. Maybe just because I've got up there so quickly. But even if those 2 are shooting when you reach them, pretty easy to manage with the aid of the shield. And as I mentioned, Scrap Brain will not give you a special stage even if you get here with 50 rings and don't have all the emeralds yet. You cannot get the last emerald in Scrap Brain. Anyway, that was Act 1. Next week I'll be doing Acts 2 and 3 and finishing the game. So I'm looking forward to that. Hope you're looking forward to watching it. See you then.